Hi guys, Ancient Warrior. Welcome back to Prepping in Free America. If you like what you hear here, hit the subscribe button. The growing lack of civility in this country is amazing. You know, I lived through the 50s and 60s, the turmoil of the 60s. Things kind of partially calmed down in the 70s and 80s and 90s. The 2000s started seeing things happening again. I made the comment to a friend of mine one day, the United States is starting to look like Argentina. With all the stock crashes we've had since 2000. We had the dot-com bust. We had, in 2000, the dot-com bust. I lost a bunch then. Then we had the 2001 terrorist attack in New York City at the Pentagon. Then after that we lost control of the Congress and the Senate. Democrats took control and started giving loans, housing loans, to any and everybody who couldn't afford it. And we had a housing bubble collapse. The downturn of '08. We had 8 years of the Democrats blaming everything they could on George W. Bush. I mean, if it rained the wrong way, they blamed him. We got rid of Mr. Barack. We knew he wasn't going to crawl under a rock and stay quiet, because George W., he let him walk all over him. I'll guarantee you. If I'd have been him, you'd have got a little taste of this Texas fight. Because you think Trump had some mean tweets? I'll guarantee you, I'd have given some tweets that would have set people's hair on fire. The left has been attacking people from the right, the American people. We've been called racist, murderers, fascist, semi-fascist. The list goes on and on and on. Folks, it's time for that to come to an end. You know, Lori Lightfoot the other day said that Greg Abbott was being un-American by shipping migrants to Chicago. And then she sent them to some little suburb outside Chicago that's a Republican stronghold. Lori Lightfoot is your normal Democrat. Talks a good game, but when it comes time to play, she don't know which end of the bat to pick up. Folks, in America, we need to calm down. We need, excuse me, we need to show dignity You want to see the lack of civility? There was a professor from Carnegie Mellon University who voiced the opinion that she hoped the Queen died in great pain and anguish. Oh my dear God, what kind of people is the left when they wish for evil like that? That woman tried to do good for all. And I hate to say it, but racism is always the first ball they throw at people, whether you're left, right, or in the middle. Carnegie Mellon came out and said, we do not agree with that post. They should have terminated that professor without a second thought. Yes, you have freedom of speech. But with coming with freedom of speech, maybe being dignified enough not to say something would be a good thing. Sonny Holstein from The View said the Queen stood on the backs of blacks. Guys, let me voice a fact to you. If I remember right, England abolished slavery before we did. They gave full rights to black people. Matter of fact, at one time in Europe, to have a black man or a black woman on your arm was a sign of class and style. To have a lover who was of a different race was something to elevate your status among your friends. Now, Sonny Holstein today has said that something to the effect, I got agitated when she starts talking and running her mouth without thinking. And she said that before anything can change, we have to have a discussion on white supremacy. Really? That's the discussion you want to have? We have a soaring crime rate in this country. I know people here in town that have are freshly minted gun owners because they've either been robbed or are afraid they're going to get robbed. I know one woman in particular from my church. She gets out of the car. She has a remote in her left hand and her hand in her purse on her little pistol. Her sister, who lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, went to the mall, had to have 48 stitches put in the back of her head. Like to killed her. Over $16 in her purse. They didn't even get her credit cards. They just got her money. Guys and gals, we're in deep, deep doo-doo in this country. With that being said, I could rant all day on this subject. With that being said, remember, it's better to have this stuff and not need it than need it and not have it. I'm the ancient warrior. And as soon as I find the remote, we're going to turn this off.